Hi everyone. On this video, we'll be walking through how we can manipulate the basic PDF form layouts to print the item name/number field of our item on our purchase orders or bills, instead of the vendor name/code, even when we have a value populated on the item record. So for some context, if we are using the basic PDF layout functionality to print our transactions, NetSuite natively is going to print the vendor name/code if we have something defined under that field for that item. Now, if we want to print the item name/number instead while still keeping the vendor name and code populated, we would need to create a custom field, in which we'll walk through in just a second. So if we were to print this without any customization, natively, as you can see, we are going to see the system pull in the vendor name/code of that particular item instead of the item name and number. So what we'll want to do is create a transaction line custom field. So we'll navigate to customization, lists, records, and fields, transaction line fields, and I'll open this up in a new tab. Now for our label, this is just to define the name of this custom field. So I will use item name/number and then specify that this is for our form printing. We want to make sure that the type is free-form text and also make sure we uncheck the stored value because we will want the system to source this field automatically from the native item name/number field. So I'm going to apply it to our purchase item because we are going to use a printing of the purchase order for our example here. And we'll go to the sourcing and filtering tab. Our source list, we want it to be the item list, and we want to source from the name of the item. So I'll go ahead and if we hit save and apply to forms, it will take you to a page of all of the forms that it automatically, by default, has applied to. Since it is a purchasing type form, we can choose to not include that custom field we just created on, for example, our vendor bill or bill credit forms. Now, for this particular purchase order and purchase orders in general, our default transaction form is going to be this custom form here, SSMFG standard-purchase order. So we just want to make sure that for our particular example, that form is included, which it is. It is the default purchase order transaction form we have selected in the system. So in case we wanted to exclude from certain forms, we can hit that save and apply to forms and then edit accordingly and then hit save. Okay. Now, once we have our transaction line field created and it's applied to the correct forms, we can visit that form, custom form record here for SS Manufacturing Standard Purchase Order. We'll go to Customization Forms, Transaction Forms. And ours was the machine. Standard purchase order. So when we click into this custom form here, as I mentioned before, this is regarding the basic printing type, not the advanced. If we are using the advanced PDF HTML form, we are actually able to manipulate using the source code of which one to print for the item name/number versus the vendor name/code. So this methodology is really only needed if we're using the basic transaction layout. And you can see I have a custom PDF layout that is basic that I have assigned to this particular transaction form. This we can also customize. That's more regarding, the actual spacing, the layout, the font style and type and size of our PDF prints. But for our case, what we're worried about is we just created a transaction line field. we want to make sure that is what we use to actually print. So we'll head to our printing fields tab. It will be under columns. And you can see this is the native item printing field that NetSuite automatically has checked. And so this is the field where if we do have a vendor name / code populated, it will choose that over the item name / number field. So what we'll want to do is uncheck. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we'll see the new field that we just created is available for us to select. So we'll check this field instead, and we can actually just hit move to top here, and it'll bring it all the way to the top for us. So we can also change the label. So this is going to be what we can define the column header or title. So if we want this to say item instead, we can, and then we can sort of redefine the native one here so we can tell the difference. But even if we don't, the description will always let us know which one is the native and which one was the custom field that we created. So I will actually assign the width to be 2. That's just the spacing of the column when we print out the PDF. And I'll go ahead and save this transaction form. And now if we were to, I'm just going to refresh this page that we printed earlier for this purchase order here. We refresh this page, we should see that it'll still keep that column header of item, but now it will print our custom field sourcing of the item name / number instead of the vendor name / code, even when we did not delete the value of the vendor name / code in our inventory item. Right? So that is the process of how to manipulate which field to print if we are using the basic PDF layout in NetSuite for our purchasing transactions. Thanks for listening.